Here's a tweet from Roasting Host. Thank you for that. I live for Miss Grace Greenleaf. So do I, which is, oh, God, that was all the same thing. So do I, which is why I'm so excited to be sitting down with Merle Dandridge, actor and star of Greenleaf on OWN.
Thank you for having
and
me.
my fellow Tennessean.
Yeah.
Which I just found out.
Well, I grew up in Nebraska, but all the Dandridges are from Memphis, so I spent all of my summers there. But yeah, we're Tennessee.
We gotta grow.
Church folk.
We are those people. Yes, which is why I love the show so much.
Oh, thank you.
So last night was the season premiere of season 4, the premiere of season 4.
Yeah.
You were up tweeting on both coasts. Right?
Yeah, no, I tried to stay up for West Coast, but
you ended up stopped.
Because, we were promoting the show yesterday, so I was up early, and I knew I had to get up early this morning, too, so I tried really hard. But yes,
you try really hard every time. I noticed you on Twitter doing this, which is fantastic.
No, I love to engage with everyone. If people are giving us that kind of love and interested in the stories that we have put so much attention and time into, then yeah, I'm going to be there.
You're going to show up for them.
Yeah, and I want to talk to them about it because it's meaningful. And I think the storylines that we've been dealing with are so human and relatable. And that's part of what makes Greenleaf so beautiful, is that it's a conversation starter.
Yes,
it's a healer.
It sure is. And how has that been, connecting on Twitter with them like that? Because I think that's the fascinating part about what you do with the show is that you're doing that labor of telling really hard stories about our communities, but then you're taking it online. So what drew you to wanting to do that?
Well, as an artist, you hope that something that you do resonates, that we are able to hold up a mirror to a social condition or, again, start a conversation, and that your work will be able to, as artists, we have a different ability to move the needle and or heal something in somebody's heart or make somebody feel seen. And so in that, there's a little bit of a responsibility to that. And as a character like Grace Greenleaf seems so accessible to people, the way that people walk up to me on the street and tell me such intimate stories, I feel like it's a great opportunity and forum within which I can really connect to a lot more people, rather than when I'm broke down after my workout in the grocery store. Which I love too, by the way.
When they come up to you, you're like, I'm just trying to buy kale.
No, I'm not. But I'm like, how did you recognize me? I look crazy. I look crazy.
I'm sure that would get very annoying. You're like, I just have this ball cap on, and you know who I am? And then we have this deep conversation
But they come with such love.
Yes. And it makes sense, though, because your character, this season is interim head pastor.
Yeah.
So you are the person people should go to. And you're going to be working a lot with Lady Mae, your mom, to reclaim the church.
That's right.
So how did you and Lynn Whitfield change your dynamic for this season? Because you will have some of the most iconic pairing moments throughout any television show, I think.
Yeah. Well, mother-daughter relations, any kind of long-term familial strife has layers, and it goes through phases. So now Lady Mae and Grace are on the same team. They have an external foe that they need to come together. And since Grace has a few secrets of her own, that skeletons that are coming out of the closet, it's very equalizing for them. So it's no longer like, you did this and you did that. It's like, oh, look at us. Aren't we a mess?
Yes.
Apple tree,
Yes.
not falling far from it. And we're accepting that we're both flawed. But it's just such a wonderful story, and I love that the audience has really connected with them and understood them. But there's a scene from last night where they're talking about and they're planning how they're going to get the family back into the church, and all Grace really wants to talk about with her mom is, when can we let these truths out about my origin story, about my identity? When can we let these things come out? Because Mama, she's no longer willing to let her mom be the gatekeeper of that. She's going to go and claim her identity and her truth.
And why do you think that's been so important for this season, of this idea of truth-saying within the Black church? It seems like something that I personally felt a lot, but I feel like that's something that you all are trying to communicate to us as a community.
Yeah. I mean, there's something really delicate about being the instrument through which God speaks, and to be on the platform with a clear conscience and a humble heart, and be dealing with your very human issues.
Yes.
I mean, are you worshiping the man or are you worshiping the one? And being in the pulpit, people are looking at you and expecting a certain pristine lifestyle, but we are dealing with human beings who go through the same stuff that we do. I mean, yes, they have a high calling on their life, but I think we've all seen people who are on that platform and may have fallen a little short.
Yes, and I think your show does a great job of like showing the humanity in falling short.
And we're creating empathy for that.
Yeah, but just like, so I'm sorry, I'm like thinking about this, I'm like, yeah, because your show has literally been the only example I've seen where like I look at my own family, my own history and see that like, oh yeah, we weren't that perfect and it's okay to talk about it that way and have that out there. So thank you for that. Well, before I let you go, I have to talk about your time on Broadway. You live between New York and LA. You were most recently in Once on This Island.
Yeah.
And what was the difference between performing on Broadway versus the television screen for you?
Well, Island was my 6th Broadway show. This is my stomping grounds. This is my home. And one, it was great to be back in the community, but it's very grounding for me to be on the stage. And it's the oldest art form, just being in a circle and telling stories. It doesn't get more primal and community-driven as that. And there's an immediacy to what we share in that space that will never be captured again. Conversely, on the camera, it's going to pick up every nuance in your spirit, and the reach is much farther, and it lives on in perpetuity.
Forever
I mean, if you haven't seen it, Greenleaf seasons 1, 2, and 3 on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Okay. I'm just all I'm saying. But I had this really profound experience when I was playing Aida on the Palace stage right after 9/11, singing "The Gods Love Nubia" about rousing a nation after this big catastrophe that happened to them, and the feeling in that theater. To stand on a stage like Judy Garland stood on, all these greats stood on. That's the one thing, but then to be in a room and deliver a message of lifting one another up. I just am such a firm believer, if you have a platform to bring hope, speak life.
Yeah. I love, God, you're taking me to church over here. I'm like, yes, girl, yes, speak, yes, hopeful. Well, thank you. I could talk to you all day. And we're out of time, which makes me really sad. But I want to say thank you so much for being here and for your work on the show. It's a really important show, beyond the fact that our queen goddess, Oprah, is behind it. And
Let's just talk about that for a second. I mean, her intentionality.
It's just... Wow.
That's why it's affecting us. She knew exactly what we needed to talk about.
She did. She knew exactly what we needed to go through and be through with her. So, yes.
And she gave me this job. Thank you, Oprah. Thank you.
Well, if you are not watching Greenleaf, you need to watch it now. You need to become best friends with Miss Dandridge immediately, because I'm trying to. So Greenleaf is on OWN every Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. But up next, we are responding to your tweet.